On question, sorry about that. On question 12, let's plot the points we know. I know A is at 1 and 3. I don't know B. I'll come back to it. But I know C is at 3 and 1. And I know D is at 0 and 0. Now I know the opposite sides are congruent. The adjacent sides are congruent. I know the opposite sides are parallel. So to find point D, let's just copy the distance from D to A in the same slope as D to A. So in other words, from 0 to 1, I'm going over 1. So point C, I'm going to go over 1. I'm going to be at 4. And I'm going up 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. So in other words, point D is at 4 and 4. I don't know, I put a comma after the D. Now I've got myself a rhombus. I can definitely see that was point B, by the way, not D. Okay, so now I can find the distance from B to D because that's my longest diagonal. So my longest diagonal, nice thing is, well, D being 0, 0, it's 4 squared plus 4 squared. Well, that's 16 plus 16, which is the square root of 32. Simplify that. You get 4 square roots of 2. I didn't tell you to simplify it. You could have written it as a decimal, and that's about 5.7. But don't leave it as a square root of 32, because that's not simplified. On question 13, I've got another rhombus, don't I? So in this rhombus, A, B, C, D, I want to look at all the angles that are congruent to A, B, D. Well, I know the diagonals bisect my angles, and I know the opposite angles are congruent. So all these angles are congruent to A, B, D. So in other words, BDC, CBD, and CDB. But I don't have any information. It's not a square, so the angle A's and angle C's are not going to be congruent. Then if I look at diagonals that bisect both pairs of opposite angles, well, we just did it. It's a rhombus. A rhombus, and then a rhombus is a square. So it's a square. The diagonals that bisect exactly one pair of opposite angles, well, that would be a kite. They bisect one, but not the other. And then at neither would be a rectangle and a trapezoid.